Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio, this is SGTV News 4.
Good evening, I'm Spencer Buckler. Coming up tonight, breaking news as President Donald Trump has been acquitted in the impeachment case against him, how the Senate voted on the charges. The nation is still waiting for all of the results from the Iowa caucus to be reported. We have those results so far. And a busy night in the student Senate chambers. We have more tonight on Weekly News.
This is SGTV Weekly News with Spencer Buckler.
Breaking this evening, the Senate has acquitted President Donald Trump on 2 articles of impeachment. Both articles fell short of the 2/3 vote needed to convict and remove the president from office. The Senate voted 52-48 to reject the abuse of power charge and 53-47 against the article charging the president with obstruction of Congress. The majority of the votes were along party lines, but Republican Mitt Romney voted with the Democrats on the abuse of power charge. This comes after the Senate voted against a motion to consider witnesses or documents last Friday. The president is expected to make a public statement about the trial tomorrow. More breaking news tonight as the results from the Iowa caucus have been coming out throughout the day today. Right now, 86% of precincts are reporting, and South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg still holds a narrow lead with 26.7% of the vote. He is followed closely by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who has 25.4% of the vote. The Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren and former Vice President Joe Biden round out the top 4. Back here in Columbia, a constitutional challenge was filed against Speaker of the Student Senate Davis Latham, and the future of the office of the Treasurer is up in the air. News 4's Michaela Lopez is there. Michaela, can you tell us what's happening?
Thanks, Spencer. I'm standing here in the Senate chambers where they just adjourned tonight's meeting. One of the big topics, Speaker Davis Latham and his alleged use of undue force in an email. An injunction was filed preventing Latham from speaking, and no one could take any votes on the matter. The other pressing issue of the night was the proposal of making student body treasurer an appointed position. One of the main arguments for this being the line of succession. We talked to current treasurer Kate Lewis for more details.
From an ethical standpoint, if every single student has money in the pot, then every single student should be able to have a say in who's managing that.
The referendum is not going to go into effect this election season. Spencer?
Thanks, Michaela. Coming up, the Auschwitz concentration camp was liberated 75 years ago, how the university marked the anniversary. It's been 75 years since the Auschwitz concentration camp was liberated. News 4's Jack Hickey has more on how the University of South Carolina marked the milestone.
We must not only remember Auschwitz in order to not forget, but we must also remember so history does not repeat itself, because it will.
I'm here outside of the U of SC Alumni Center, who's partnered with the SC Council on the Holocaust to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. President Kaslan and Governor McMaster were among many honored guests who spoke at the commemoration, which was highlighted by keynote speaker Elijah Wiesel, son of Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel, who is famous for authoring the book Night, which chronicled his experience as a prisoner in Auschwitz concentration camp.
The Holocaust happened, the death camps were real, and my father's message is extremely important in an age where some would deny that the Holocaust occurred or change and try to build narratives around it. It's incredibly important to have Holocaust education because we've been through this incredible trauma as a people, and that has to be understood. It can't be forgotten, and there are those who would brush past it, so it has to be remembered both as a warning to not ever come close to anything like that happening again in terms of genocide, but also to be very clear that this was a singular event, and we can't trivialize modern events by referring to it as such.
All speakers took time to remember the millions of lives lost during the Holocaust and to highlight the importance of Holocaust education to prevent future tragedies.
We had lessons in school how terrible the Jewish race is and why the Jewish race has to be erased. To tell it to children or to adults when I go to do it to school, and to warn them for being brainwashed, to think for themselves, to look for the identity and never to forget the identity. This is what's so important for me. There is a lot of misrepresentation, and I hope, when you talk, and more you talk, and you educate through education, that people will know what's. But you do it through personal meeting people. The media can do a lot. I really hope the media will do a little bit better.
While Auschwitz was liberated 75 years ago today, the keynote speakers made abundantly clear that the responsibility lies with us to keep their memory alive and make sure such a tragedy never occurs again. For SGTV News 4, I'm Jack Hake.
Thanks, Jack. 70 more people have died from the coronavirus, bringing the total death toll to 564. This comes after over 5,000 passengers on 2 cruise ships in Asia have been quarantined. The people on board are being given health screenings, and those with suspicious symptoms will be tested for the virus. Here in the United States, 12 people have been confirmed infected with the coronavirus, the latest in Wisconsin. On campus, the Melton Observatory has been allowing visitors to see the stars since 1926. News 4's Justin Walsh takes us inside.
Being about 62 miles above us, outer space seems nearly impossible to articulate. However, thanks to the Melton Memorial Observatory, USC students can feel a little closer to the stars up above.
Right, so this is the Melton Observatory. It was built in 1928, and this is the original telescope in Mount, but I'll show you when we get up there. It's been modified to be more current. I got interested in astronomy as a college student, so for me it's kind of giving back to let other college students be introduced to the night sky.
I was lucky to receive a private tour of the structure from observatory coordinator Martin Bowers.
So what I do is open it up for public viewing sessions. So
every Monday night?
Yeah, our goal is to be open every clear Monday night.
Only so much can be seen from the outside, so we then went to the top to see where the magic really happens.
This is our big scope. So like I said, it was built in 1928. And one thing I point out to everyone is that when this was built, there was a physical clock drive that set in here with gears and pulleys and weights, and that's what drove the wheel.
After seeing each passerby gaze upon the stars, we just had to take a look for ourselves. Oh my god. Yeah, especially when it's cold. That is really close up.
We've seen Saturn and it's really beautiful. When I saw it for the first time, I couldn't believe it's real. I thought it's someone just like put in a little light dot there.
There are a surprising number of people who come here and say, I'm a senior, I've walked by this thing my 4 years, I've never been in it before, and I decided to come tonight.
The observatory is certainly a unique structure with complex inner workings. After my visit, I'd say stopping by is definitely worth your while.
It's a great possibility, like every Monday they have open hours for everyone. Everyone can just stop by and see stuff.
After visiting the Melton Observatory, USC students are ready to shoot for the stars. From outside the Melton Memorial Observatory, Justin Walsh, SGTV News 4.
A hidden gem here on campus. Justin, thank you. Well, that does it for weekly news. From all of us here at SGTV News 4, have a good night.